Hello, I'm here again to talk about repetitive strain injury. I would have hoped that I wouldn't have to keep making these videos, but unfortunately the last week has been one of the worst in, or perhaps the last 6 months, maybe even a year. Still nowhere near as bad as, say, 4 years ago when I first got this condition, but that's not saying much. I've been trying to work out what might have brought on this worsening. It could be any number of things. I've been working late on some evenings recently, although by late I mean 7:30, nothing like what I used to do in the old days. I did a group exercise class about a week ago where I did some fairly tough exercises with my arms. Maybe that contributed. I was doing some work in the garden. The normal physio I see is away at the moment, so I've been seeing other physios and osteopaths. Maybe that's had an effect. And also I haven't done some of the stretches that I probably should have done in recent times. So it's very hard to say which of those things would have caused this. It's probably a combination of all of them, and the same goes for when things improve. It's hard to say if it's down to a particular massage technique or stretch that I do, or exercise, or reduction of work hours. Again, it's a combination of things. So, having discussed with various people and therapists, I've decided to start trying these, which is Amitriptyline. I was prescribed this medication 2 years ago. It's been shown to help certain cases of chronic pain in low doses. Normally it's used as an antidepressant, but I'll be taking it at a much lower dose than the dose typically taken for that purpose. I was prescribed it 2 years ago and didn't take it at the time because I was concerned about side effects. But I've decided to give it a try and hope that it can kind of help jolt me out of this kind of rut I'm in. So it's said to take 2 weeks to take effect sometimes, so I'll see how it goes, and I'll record more videos as time goes on and keep you updated. It's nearly 2 months since I recorded the previous bit, and so I've been taking Amitriptyline for quite a while now. I started off on 10 milligrams per day and then went up to 20 after about 2 weeks. I had been concerned about side effects, particularly in terms of disruption to sleeping patterns. What I've actually found is relatively few side effects, mainly in the form of a dry mouth, although the effect seems to have diminished with time, and I did also get quite bad mouth ulcers to begin with, but those have gone now as well. As to whether the Amitriptyline has actually improved my condition, it's very hard to say, but there certainly isn't any clear sign of that. For example, my condition is a lot better than it had been when I recorded the previous section, but that's probably more down to seeing therapists more frequently. In the week after I recorded that section, I saw 5 therapists in 1 week, which is the most I've ever done. It used to be more like 1 or 2 per week. And even now, I've recently finished a project at work, so the pressure is off a bit, but even this week I've seen therapists 4 times in 1 week. And obviously I want to decrease that because it's very expensive. So as for the Amitriptyline, I think what I'll do is take it for another month or 2 and then gradually come off it and see what the difference is. Something else worth mentioning is that I recently joined the gym and have done a bit of training to try and improve my strength and stamina in terms of muscles, particularly of my back. For the last 2 or 3 months, I've stopped doing the weight training and focused more on running, just because we've had a particularly busy time at work. I wanted to make sure I had wasn't using up my capacity to work at the gym. But now that the project is finished, I'm going to start going again. I resumed my previous training regime on Wednesday. As I did when I started going to the gym, it was important to start very gently. As with any strengthening regime, there's a kind of conflict between, in the short term, you could be making your condition worse, but in the long term there could be a benefit. So I need to make sure I don't go too fast to begin with, and only to increase my training gradually. So my plan is to do that for the next few months, try to take it as easy as possible at work, and then see where I am at that point. Before I go, I'd just like to show you this, which is a chart I make which tracks which exercises I've done in terms of stretches, training, and so on, and also how many key presses, mouse clicks I've done at home and at work, and any medication I've taken, and my symptoms on each day. So in my next video I'll say a bit more about the stretches and exercises I do or try to do each day. Before I go, I'd just like to say that although it's not been clear whether amitriptyline has helped me so far, I would recommend trying it out if you get the opportunity and if you're in a similar situation to me, because I think different people will react differently to different medications and treatments, so it's definitely worth giving it a try.